Hello, everybody. This is Di, Anti-Natalist, and Alex and I are going to be doing a video today. And this is at Phipps Conservatory. It's a beautiful room in here, and we're going to talk about natalist privilege and natalist entitlements. And yesterday there was a National Geographic show, and it was called Smugglers, and several of, or I would say every one of the people who were trafficking drugs, they were trafficking cocaine from El Dorado Airport in Colombia to Spain. Every one of them were parents, and they were playing the pity me card.
So we just wanted to touch on that idea when parents try to victimize themselves to get themselves out of situations. And this seems to be like a common trend. If a parent commits a crime such as theft or violence, they often tell the authorities that they did it for their children. And that's supposed to be like a way for them to get forgiveness and be exempt from their crimes. And I just think that's so backwards, and especially more so because of the fact that they're the ones that brought children into this world. They've already committed a crime, and on top of that, they've committed another crime. So their punishment should be even worse. But it's really sad and ridiculous that people actually take pity on parents that play that victim card. And it's just ludicrous because a lot of these parents that commit these crimes, they should never have had children in the first place. They had no emotional stability, no financial stability, no sort of stability at all. So for them to have children and drag them into this hellhole should be a terrible crime that should have so many repercussions, so many charges. But instead they want to act like they're just poor, innocent victims, almost like somebody that got hit by a car, somebody that got shot. They want to put themselves in such a victim position when they're the perpetrators and they're the ones that cause harm. And it's such a gross bias too, because it really discriminates child-free people. Because when they say something like, oh, I have children, it basically implies that they're more important than their child-free counterparts, that they should have less of a sentence, that the authorities should be less harsh towards them because they have children to raise and therefore they're more important. And that's such a ludicrous way of looking at the world. And parents utilize this in so many aspects, in the workplace, in so many scenarios. They act as though they are more important, their time is more important, their money is more important, and they always use that excuse.
And they want to go to the front of the line.
Exactly. And I see this all the time. They just feel entitled to cut in front of the line. And it just sickens me that somebody can paint something that is so selfish, which is procreation, and paint it as something that's honorable and altruistic and selfless when it's really the absolute opposite. So that's what I wanted to discuss today. And this is a really cool botanical garden.
And you know,
conservatory.
The other thing I want to say is the entitlements, like natalist breeders, they are already getting entitlements. And, you know, they act as if they're 3 or 4 kids. You know, they realize that they're in deep and over their head whenever they have children, and then they realize it was more of a venture than they expected, and it was more of a costly financial burden than they expected. But the majority of people have children.
And
so
they always expect people to pay for their mistakes. So if they irresponsibly have several children that they can't feed, they feel like that's now society's problem, that society should have to pay for those things.
And society is
a working child-free person should have to put aside taxes, should pay taxes for their children.
But they're already getting free schooling, free busing. They, they can qualify for free medicine, medical care. They can qualify for, subsidized housing. They can qualify for free food, WIC, and food stamps.
It's one of the worst forms of discrimination that's not talked about at all. It's just as bad as racism or sexism. The fact that people with children just seem to get privileges and passes, and that should not be tolerated in any kind of society.
Yeah, I'm really just sick of the natalist path and all the exemptions that that natalists get. And they just play the pity me card. They think, well, I've got. So there were several people Actually, most of the people complained that they had children at home and that they were just trying to get ahead, and they were trafficking these drugs, and they were, I think they made about $2,000 a piece for the drug run, and it was, it was cocaine, and they knew that they were doing wrong. They knew that they were committing a crime. Hey, they knew that they were committing a felony or drug trafficking, but they were willing to do that. They were willing to risk everything. They were willing to jeopardize their family and compromise their family's financial well-being. And then, but yet the drug officials who confiscated all these drugs and tested the drugs in front of them, as and it came up with light blue.
Say, I just wanted to give them a better life, and
Yeah,
they would have given them a better life had they not had them.
but they told the drug officials that I have 3 kids at home, and all the officials even asked them, do you have kids at home, as if that should matter. It doesn't matter at all. They're not more they actually should be on a higher moral
Because they're setting examples for that.
they should be setting examples for their children and for society, because they do have children. They should be more honorable, not less honorable. Hey, no, just, what are you doing? Don't worry. Hey. So anyway, they should be setting better examples, and they're actually setting less, and they want society to pick up their slack, and they already have gross amounts of entitlements and tax exemptions and free schooling, and yet they just want more and more and more. And committing a crime is not exempted. It doesn't matter how many kids you have. It doesn't matter if you have 10 kids. You're responsible for those kids, and those kids were your doing. The kids didn't just come along. The stork didn't just bring those kids. It was their sex act that created those kids, and that sex act was a choice. Yeah. So what, you have any last words?
No, I think we covered all the bases.
Okay, but yeah, it was a really good show. It was called Smugglers, and pretty much everybody was a parent. So, and the majority of people are parents. And so if the majority of people were getting exemptions for their crimes, what would that mean for society? It just doesn't make any sense. And they just all, cried the poor me card, because they were caught with drugs, and they had children. So it is what it is. And if you don't see the repercussions of your crimes, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. So thank you for the video, Alex, and this is a beautiful room. And if you can't feed, don't breed.